Hi, and welcome to Snow and Ice Event Bear Lane Training, everybody's favorite. So I'm going to make this one about as quick as we can, but there's some information we need to go over every year, so let's give it a shot. So first of all, we'll start with an event, and a winter weather occurrence that consumes resources necessary to prevent, minimize, or regain the loss of bear lanes. Taking a look here, let's find out what some of those winter weather occurrences are. Pretty self-explanatory. We've all been in it before. Freezing rain, freezing drizzle, snow, drifting, blowing snow. You got your ice and black ice, frost, refreeze, sleet, or any combination. Pretty much anything that Mother Nature throws at us in the winter there. Resources consumed. Well, for material, that could be salt, brine, sand, salt, other chemicals that trigger event. Maybe we're trying out that beet heat like we had some pretty good success with last year. So except road patrol and anti-icing. Equipment, use of the plow, the wings, underbodies, and sander will trigger an event. But use of the plow trucks alone, if you're just checking road conditions, is not considered a resource. Labor, it is a resource, provided that either the materials or equipment are used. So you need to make sure we remember correctly record time, equipment, and materials within 24 hours of shift end. So talk a little bit about preventing, minimizing, or regaining. Prevent is the use of resources before or during an event, such as anti-icing or application of chemicals to prevent the loss of bear lanes. Minimize is using the resources that we have, chemicals, plows, to reduce the effects or impact of the bear lanes that are lost. Or we got regain here. That's the process actually, and the resources needed to regain the loss once we actually lose the bear lanes. Here's an example of bear lane. The center stripe fog lines can be covered with ice and snow, but the travel speeds, this is an important one, but travel speeds cannot be impacted. If they're impacted, you don't have bear lane. So 95% of the wheel tracks and everything in between must be free of snow and ice, and shoulder and ramps are not included in this though. A little bit example of 95% bear lane example. Well, we can have compaction between the outer edges of the wheel paths through small towns as long, and again this is the important one, as long as travel speed is not impacted and the total of those locations does not exceed 5% of the route. If at least 95% of the route meets bear lane condition that we just saw, but travel speed is impacted because of intermittent drifts or ice, it does not meet the bear lane measure. Here's an example of bear lane regain time. You got your event beginning. At some point we lose the bear lane, but then once that event ends, that time till the time that you actually regain the lane, that's the bear lane regain time. Record in half-hour increments and use regular time. I wanted to show an example of the target bear lane regain times for all 5 of our levels of service for our routes across the state. And some districts may not have all different levels of service classifications, but you at least have some of these. So for instance, if you've got a super commuter over 30,000 ADT traffic per day, 1 to 3 hours is the time we're shooting for regain time. For an urban commuter, 10,000 to 30,000, between that 2 to 5 hours after the event to regain. A rural commuter in that 2,000 to 10,000 vehicles per day in that 4 to 9 hours. A primary in the 800 to 2,000, we're looking for 6 to 12. And we still have some secondaries across the state. Not every district has them, but some have several of them. Under 800, we're looking for that window between 9 and 36 hours. Now, the event 6-hour rule. You may have heard about it, and all this is talking about is if an event stops and restarts after 6 hours, it's considered a new event. But if the event stops and restarts in under 6 hours, it's a continuation of the first event. So pretty much all there is to that one. For reporting bear lane regain, you must record bear lane in the first event before you can actually start a second event. So if the bear lanes have not been regained before the start of a new event, all non-regained routes must be set to regain at the start of the new event. That's just one of the rules they've got. So what that means is the event start and lane loss will be the same for that new event. events are recorded even if the bare lanes have not been lost, provided we use the resources. Use your best judgment when recording the start and end of an event, and when recording your bare lane lost and regained. Some of the things you can use: weather reports, RWIS, MDSS, patrol dispatch, road patrol or your supervisor to help figure out when the event started and when bare lanes. You must record it in the timesheets within 24 hours of your ending your shift. Thanks a lot. Have a safe and great winter season. And that's all I got for you now. Take care. Bye.